The lecture hall buzzed with the usual pre-class chatter as students filed in for advanced xenobiology. William Chen slid into his usual seat near the back, dumping his backpack on the floor with a thud. He barely noticed the girl who always sat 3 rows ahead, her dark hair pulled into a simple ponytail, her presence so unremarkable that most students couldn't recall her name even after 2 semesters together. Her name was Maya. No last name on the roster, just Maya. She never spoke unless called upon, never joined study groups, and disappeared the moment class ended. William had maybe heard her voice twice all semester, soft, measured responses that were always technically correct, but revealed nothing about the person behind them. "Did you hear?" his friend Marcus whispered, sliding into the adjacent seat. 3 more colony ships went dark in the Terran frontier. That's 17 in the last month. William frowned. Everyone knew about the disappearances. The news feeds were full of speculation, equipment failures, rogue AI, even theories about ancient alien defense systems. The Galactic Council had issued statements urging calm, but humanity's expansion into the outer territories had ground to a halt. Too many ships, too many people, all gone without a trace. "They're saying it's the Khazari," Marcus continued, his voice dropping even lower, "that they've finally had enough of humans pushing into their space. The Khazari, apex predators from the Andromeda sector, with exoskeletons like living titanium and reflexes that made them nearly impossible to kill. They'd been humanity's greatest threat for decades, viewing humans as weak, soft prey who'd gotten lucky with faster-than-light travel." William glanced at his datapad, scrolling through the latest reports. The attacks were getting bolder. An entire research station, a military escort, even a diplomatic vessel. Whatever was taking these ships wasn't interested in warnings or negotiations. Maya arrived exactly 2 minutes before class started, as always. She moved like a shadow, sliding into her seat without making eye contact with anyone. William watched her for a moment. There was something almost mechanical about her efficiency, the way she positioned her tablet at a precise angle, the way her hands remained perfectly still on the desk. Professor Aldrich began his lecture on symbiotic relationships in carbon-based life forms, but William's attention kept drifting. Through the window, he could see the campus quad where students lounged on the grass, blissfully unaware that humanity's expansion among the stars was teetering on the edge of catastrophe. When class ended, Maya was gone before William had even closed his backpack. 3 days later, everything changed. William was in the library, struggling through a complex molecular analysis, when the emergency broadcast erupted across every screen on campus. The Khazari had issued an ultimatum. Humanity had 1 standard week to withdraw from all contested territories, or the attacks would escalate to Earth itself. The broadcast showed the Khazari High Commander, his mandibles clicking in what passed for their species' version of a smile. "You are prey pretending to be predators," the translation rendered his words. "We have culled your weak, now we come for your heart." Panic swept through the library. Students grabbed their things and fled. Calls to family, tears, angry shouts. William sat frozen, watching the alien's triumphant expression. That's when he noticed Maya. She stood alone near the historical archives section, watching the broadcast with an expression that made William's blood run cold. It wasn't fear. It wasn't even concern. Her eyes held something ancient and hungry, like a wolf that had just caught the scent of prey. She turned and walked toward the exit, and William found himself following, unable to explain why. He tailed her across campus, keeping his distance. She moved with purpose now, the quiet shuffling gait replaced by something fluid and predatory. She headed toward the old maintenance building on the eastern edge of campus, a structure slated for demolition that everyone avoided. William hesitated at the entrance, then pushed through the door. The interior was dark, lit only by shafts of late afternoon sun through broken windows. He heard sounds from below, mechanical whirring, the hiss of hydraulics. Following the noise to a basement stairwell, William descended into what should have been an abandoned storage area. Instead, he found an armory. The walls were lined with weapons he'd only seen in military documentaries: plasma rifles, molecular disruptors, armor that seemed to absorb light. And in the center of it all stood Maya, no longer the quiet girl from class. She wore form-fitting tactical gear that revealed a physique honed by years of combat. Scars traced patterns across her exposed arms, scars that would have killed anyone else. She was checking a weapon that looked like it could punch through a starship's hull, her movements practiced and economical. "You followed me," she said without turning around. Her voice was different now, harder, carrying an edge that could cut steel. William's mouth went dry. What is this?" Maya finally looked at him, and he saw it clearly now, the weight in her eyes, the darkness of someone who'd seen things that would break most minds. "What does it look like, William? It's my real job." "Your real job? You're a student. You're—" "A cover identity," she interrupted. "One of many. The university provides excellent access to off-world communication networks and a legitimate reason to be planetside during recruitment periods." "Recruitment for what?" She smiled then, and it was the most terrifying expression William had ever seen. "The Khazari think they're apex predators. They think their 16 confirmed kills and their mandibles and their armor make them unstoppable." She attached a power cell to her weapon with a sharp click. "They've never met humanity's actual hunters." "The missing ships?" "Not missing. Bait." Maya began strapping on armor plates, each piece locking into place with precision. "Every species in the galaxy thinks humans are weak, soft. We don't have exoskeletons or natural weapons or enhanced senses. What they forget is that we climb to the top of Earth's food chain with nothing but persistence and the willingness to do whatever it takes." William backed against the wall as understanding crashed over him. "You're the one who's been taking out the Khazari." "Me and 47 others like me. We volunteered after the first colony massacre." Her hands moved over her gear with practiced efficiency. "The Galactic Council thinks we're negotiating. The Khazari think they're winning. But every disappeared ship is actually a hunting ground where we've trapped and eliminated their raiders." 17 ships, William breathed. "How many of them have you?" "Personally, 342 confirmed kills." She said it the way someone might mention their class schedule. "The Khazari are fast, strong, and armored, but they're ambush predators who have never faced true endurance hunters. We don't need to be stronger. We just need to be relentless." She picked up a helmet, pausing before putting it on. For just a moment, William saw the quiet girl from class, the one who sat alone and never spoke. Then the mask slipped back on and she was something else entirely. "Their ultimatum accelerated our timeline," Maya said. "They're sending their main fleet to Earth. They expect terror and surrender." Her smile turned sharp. "Instead, we're going to show them what happens when you threaten humanity's homeworld. Every hunter who's been operating in deep space is converging here. This isn't a negotiation anymore. It's an extermination." "But the authorities, the military—" "Will handle the conventional forces. But the Khazari High Command, their elite warriors, the ones who have been butchering our people." She slid the helmet on, her voice now filtered through combat systems. "Those are ours." William watched as she armed herself with enough firepower to level a city block. "Why are you telling me this?" Maya headed for a concealed exit that probably led to an off-campus extraction point. She paused at the threshold, looking back at him. "Because in 72 hours, this is going to be over. The Khazari will be broken, their leadership eliminated, and the galaxy will know what humanity is really capable of. And when that happens, when your quiet classmate suddenly has a kill count that terrifies entire species." She shrugged. "Someone should know the truth, that we were never prey, we were never weak, we were just patient. And the Khazari are about to learn why humans have a saying, 'Fuck around and find out.'" Then she was gone, swallowed by shadows and purpose. William stood alone in the armory for a long time, his hands shaking. 3 days later, when the Khazari fleet arrived expecting easy victims and instead found a slaughter, when their high command was assassinated in their own flagship by infiltrators who moved like ghosts, when the most merciless hunter humanity had ever produced became a legend whispered across 1,000 worlds, he would remember this moment. The moment he realized the quiet girl on campus was the galaxy's worst nightmare. And humanity had 47 more just like her.